TransactionOne new agent training. And what we try to accomplish in this training is kind of give you guys the basic fundamentals so you can go out and start your careers as real estate professionals. Mostly, I'd like to talk about strategies to kind of help you guys launch your careers, who to talk to, how to talk to them, and then kind of go about how to set appointments, how to deliver on those appointments, and then, the technicalities too of, hey, I have this buyer, they want to write an offer, where do I go to get the forms? Where do I do to get the forms for a listing? Things of that nature. So this training is ongoing. I know I'm the broker for the office, and that's my you guys are all my responsibility at the end of the day. So I like doing this training, but I probably will not be the trainer for forever with this class, probably another week or two. So we'll see. Laura's feverishly looking for another coach to help, because we have an abundance of new agents and my bandwidth is only so great. But that being said, yeah, you all want to mentor with me at that, those options will also always be available, even if I'm not the T1 coach down the road. So you guys, I know Manishi said you just started. Rob, I know you've been kind of jumping at the bit for a few weeks. Looks like we have Rosemary joining us too. Are you guys in any situations right now where you're working with anybody, buyer or seller, that you need some help with?
I'm not at the moment. I'm still actually there's a one guy who's kind of a lead and stuff. He was in vacationing in India for a while and he just got back, so I'm hoping to connect with him soon. And a couple of other people I'm reaching out to. So like now that I'm a step closer to really getting going, got my number and everything, I feel more comfortable having these conversations.
Awesome.
So hopefully something real soon.
Awesome. Hi, Rosemary.
Hi. Yes, I have a question. I am writing a contract right now, and the seller is using a power of attorney. The sister got the power of attorney over the brother. How do I word and how do I do the contract?
So who's the owner on the, are you doing a listing or are you buying?
I'm doing a listing.
Okay. So who's the owner of the property? The brother.
The owner is the brother, Donald.
Is the brother.
And
what's his disposition? Is he elderly?
He's elderly, yes. Okay. He's in an assisted living home, and they're liquidating all his assets and moving him to another state. So
okay.
They need to sell his home.
Okay. And so his sister has power of attorney?
Yes, and she sent me the power of attorney, and okay. I just have to put the contract together.
Okay. So yeah, that's fine. The sister can sign for him, and she can sign. You just need to make sure you have the power of attorney paperwork.
I have all of that. Yeah. My question really is, whose name goes on the contract? And do I do a third party addendum?
Yeah, a third party, like a trust, like if it was a trust.
Okay, so I put his name on as the seller. I never put her name as a seller.
No, she signed power of attorney for the seller.
What is the wording that I put for her name? Do I put anything or just his name and she signs?
Yeah, she just signs and says attorney in fact or power of attorney for that person.
So if I did not have the power of attorney document, they would go, hey, why is she signing? Right?
Yeah, and then it's a whole other can of worms that you wanna make sure that, especially when dealing with elderly people, that you really cross your T's and dot your I's on those documents, because elder abuse is a real thing. We don't want to be party to that. So we want to make
Right.
sure that everyone's really acting in the best interest of the principal. Now, we're not a social service, right? Our job is
Right.
to sell homes. So
Right.
just as long as, you don't feel there's any impropriety and everyone's, working in the best interest of that homeowner, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just make sure that you have the paperwork though, that she does
Okay,
have power of
great.
attorney and someone.
Yeah, great. Okay, perfect. I'll get it. I have all the power of attorney, so I'm ready to go. So I just put in his name and she signs. So when they send the DocuSign out, it'll go to her email, but his name.
Yeah.
How does DocuSign correct that though? How does she
No,
DocuSign it?
DocuSign only cares about who signs it. They don't have to correct anything. She's just going to sign, and on her title, it's
Mhm.
power of attorney.
Okay. Okay. All right. I
And the
think
house isn't in a trust or anything like that?
it says on the power of attorney, it says power of attorney in litem or whatever you had said earlier.
Yeah.
For Donald.
When you open escrow, they'll give you guidance on that as well.
Okay. Okay. I'm just.
They're the one, the escrow and title are the ones that are officially wrapping it up for you.
Yes. I'm still a little gray on when I do the DocuSign, how do I set it up so that when she signs, it's written correctly? I'm not quite sure. So I put his name as the seller on the top of the contract. But when she goes to sign it, and it says the word seller, and it'll print someone's name, it'll print his name or her name?
No, it'll print his name as the seller, but he's going to sign it as a power of attorney for the seller.
Okay. All right. So it'll be like a third party.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
And there's a form for that. When you go through when you're inputting the listing, there's a box to check for that. Check the box and the form will appear.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Kind of a neat thing about our contract, when you're filling out the basic contract, guys, there's a bunch of addendums you can add for various reasons and situations. And when you add those addendums in the contract, it automatically populates that form into the WIN forms. So we'll play with that another time. Yeah. So today, wanted to talk to you guys about kind of get you going and kind of get you guys going down the road of hopefully setting appointments and getting your careers off with working with clients. And we have some interesting, we have some very good curriculum called Ignite that I'm going to kind of teach from. Just because it's here, it's there, it's the PowerPoint's already done for me, and the points are easily put across. So that's what we'll be working with here. Do you guys see my screen? It says Ignite Skills to Spark a Great Career.
Yes. Yeah.
So you should have access to the materials for Ignite through our Airtable or our intranet. Have you guys been able to download those at any point? Not Manucci, because you're brand new. Rob, did you go through any Ignite before?
I did go through the Ignite. I did see, go through most of it and was able to see some of the videos on YouTube.
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah, I attended, I think two sessions on Ignite. Nice. I think in November, I think it happened. There was this long series that happened for Ignite. So I was there for a couple of sessions. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So this isn't totally unfamiliar to you, which is good. So yeah, I mean, basically, we want to model, right, what successful agents do every day. And what do successful agents do every day? Well, I mean, we've been doing it for quite some time. This is a new field or a new case study, right? We've been selling real estate for 100 years. And throughout this time, we've, observed what the successful agents do, and this is pretty much it, right? You either grow your business and you run your business. How do we grow our business? Well, we lead generate for buyers and sellers. How do we lead generate for buyers and sellers? Well, initially, unless you have an advertising budget, you have one of these things. Dialing for dollars. The question is, who are you going to call and what are you going to talk about? Initially, for new agents, your best bet to get a deal going is working with someone you already know. They already know who you are. They already know what you stand for. You don't have to win them over on your integrity, right? They already know about you. And hopefully they care enough about you to help you get your career started. Now, just because you're new doesn't mean that they're going to suffer any service shortcomings because you have me. You have your whole team backing you up here at Keller Williams. So that should give you confidence in approaching your database and letting them know that you can be a solution to their problems. And the majority of it is just, being there at the right time. That's why they call it dialing for dollars. On top of lead generating for buyers and sellers, we actually hopefully are successful to a degree, so we can book some appointments and then we make our presentations. Right, we make a listing presentation or a buyer presentation. Listing presentations and buyer presentations are where you start your professional relationship with your prospective client. It's where you set expectations. You have a good understanding of the process that the client's about to go through. And the most important thing is you have a thorough understanding of how you get paid. And they are okay with that. The whole process of how you get paid, who gets paid how. And I always like to tackle every scenario head on, guys, because let's not be ignorant, right? Our clients are on the internet. They're going to be looking at properties. Right now, we don't have inventory. So if you think agents are thirsty for listing inventory and information, how do you think home buyers and consumers are right now? Right? If I'm in the market to buy a house, I know all the websites have the same data, but I'm still checking Redfin and Zillow and my agent's website and Realtor.com just to find that gem, because that's what it's come down to, right? So let's not be ignorant of that fact and understand that, hey, our clients are going to be online and people are going to be bombarding them with offers. We'll give you a rebate for this, rebate for that, this and this and this and that. All that's going to come across their eyes. So it's important that you address these things in your appointment so that you have a clear understanding. Is there a rebate? Is my agent going to contribute anything, or are they not going to contribute anything? And if they don't, well, why don't they? Right? And that's kind of what we're going to get into most of our discussion today as time permits. Right? Why don't they? And even because they don't, why is it ultra important that doesn't matter? It's most important that I have good representation. Right? So how to express that and how to win their loyalty and their agreement to how you get paid and how much you get paid. So we do that for both listing presentations and buyer presentations. And the way the game is played is kind of changing. Some say it's evolving. I disagree, but unfortunately, there are powers that be in our industry that are representing things that sometimes you don't agree with everyone that's in power doing things. But bottom line is they're trying to separate out buyers agents commission so that buyers agents have to now negotiate and get paid directly from their buyers instead of necessarily getting paid the way we do now from listings. It's silly, in my opinion, because you have to understand the game and why it's played this way, right? Sellers pay a listing agent a commission to get them the most possible money in the shortest amount of time. We share the commission with the buyer's agent to entice them to come and sell our house for us. That's why we give up half the commission, or whatever commission is prepare for the market at the time. That's how it's supposed to, in good theory, right? But right now, the market's depressed with inventory. People don't like to pay 6% commission to buy. I mean, they always have been. No one's ever wanted to pay full price for anything in the history of this world. So why people are worried about it now, it's mind-boggling to me, but they are. Which kind of makes things that more important to really have a defined value proposition for your clients so that they know who they're hiring and why. And when people have a clear perspective of who they're hiring and why they're hiring that person for that task, the amount they charge becomes less relevant because the services provided should overcome any gaps. They should come out ahead, even though they pay you more at the end of the day. Last thing we do is preview real estate to grow our business. You have to be in the game. You have to go out and look at the properties firsthand. There's a lot we can see online. Virtual tours are great. But you really want to be out in the field and you want to go out and see things firsthand. Because do we know how to embellish? Yeah, we know how to embellish. I know how to make a room look beautiful. You get there, it's like, what? This place is dirty, the floor is dirty, there's not enough light, but the picture, it looks like the Taj Mahal. So you have to go there and look at it in person. And the cool thing about it is it gives you inspiration. Because a lot of times, we have clients that are kind of on the back burner, like they've seen everything on the market, they can motivate them. You kind of know what they're looking for. So you go out and look at a few things and then you say, hey, this place would be really cool for this person. And then you get on the phone and start selling. Sometimes you need an excuse. You need something to talk about. One way to get things to talk about is to preview real estate. See how it's done. See how other agents are presenting property. Some of us do a great job. Some of us do a terrible job. It's okay. You want to go out there and see what's good, what's bad, so you know what to do when it's your time to list, right? And you get inspiration. You see cool stuff. Some people have a great kitchen remodel. Just have your camera, take a few pictures. Now you have some content for your social media posts. So it's important to be in the market and preview real estate on a regular basis. Yeah, another great way to do that and to network and build your profit share tree, of course, is to go out and participate in the weekly marketing meetings that are put on by your local real estate association. Score has them, Silvar has them. If you're up the peninsula more, Samcar, they have them. In the East Bay boards have them. And every little area would have their own little meeting. Typically, after the meeting, you go on tour and preview homes. This is also a very convenient way to be able to see a bunch of all the new homes that come on the market without having to make a bunch of appointments. Because in most cases on the broker tour, they're basically open houses for a couple of hours in the morning. So you get the tour sheet, you see what's open, go look at 5 or 6 homes. The second cool perk about this job is, agents have to get people to their houses. So it's not uncommon to have your lunch covered, at least your breakfast, coffee, bagel, donut, many cases. They'll feed you, especially when COVID ends, they'll feed you more. And that's kind of the fun part too of going up into the luxury homes, because as you go up into the hills, they really need to bribe you a little harder, and they're making more money when they sell them. So their budget for the extravaganza is a little greater. So, if you can, obviously, if you have another job, it's tough to participate in those morning rituals that agents have. But if you can, it's not a bad idea. Or maybe sneak away for an hour, take a look at a few homes, network with a few people. Especially now, if you're working with buyers and you need to win multiple offer situations. How do you win? You have to have a relationship with the listing agent. You have to build a rapport. They have to know who you are. That'll help differentiate you a little bit. You might get some information. I've always prided myself on being able to give my clients at least the last yay or nay. We don't know what we're going to get, but good chance that come deadline, I'll know where we'll need to be to win. Might not be the news you want to hear, Mr. Buyer, because if it's beyond your budget, then it's beyond your budget. But at least we have to be in that game. We have to be able to be in there to build that rapport. And you do that through going on tour. It gives you the opportunity to network with those agents, talk to them about the listing, talk to them about the condition of the home. All right. So growing your business, right? Running your business is things that we do to facilitate real estate transactions. We have a listing, we market the listing. We have buyers, we show them houses. We get calls in, we negotiate contracts, manage the documents, manage our vendors, and then we set goals. Compliance and risk management, make sure all your paperwork's in order. Attending training, and then very importantly, managing money. And I would actually take, to be honest with you, number 6, setting goals and managing money, and put them on the grow your business side. Because you want to set goals, so you want to, hopefully for growth, right? You want to do more you want to do more now than you did before. So it's important in this business too to kind of have a path. There are so many ways to make money. There's so many ways to do this. Sometimes you can get overloaded, and you have things pulling you in all different directions. You don't go anywhere. So find what works for you and kind of set a focus and move forward. One of our top agents, her focus is social media and texting. So she says she just watches Netflix all day and then chit chats with people on the text. I know somehow she sold 25 houses last year. Right? Ultimately, what is it? She's reaching out and talking to people about life and real estate, right? That's all it is. That's all lead generation is. Going out and talking to people about life and real estate. So how do you get people to pick you? How do you get people to agree to go on an appointment with you? Why do you deserve an audience? Why do you deserve to be heard? What do you bring to the table? For a home buyer, what do you bring to the table for a home seller? That's the
Offer some value.
What's that?
You have to offer your value.
Right, you have to offer your value. What can we do? What value can we offer? There's a positive spin for anything. What's the benefit of having a new agent?
Hungry.
Yeah, new agents are hungry. New agents may provide or may be willing to provide a greater level of service.
More availability.
Right? That could be a definite bonus for some buyers, right? Remember, we're in a retail business, so some of our consumers are working 9 to 5, which means they're looking at houses in the evening and on weekends, which is when retail operations work, right? That could be part of your value proposition. Hey, I'm available for you nights and weekends, whenever it's convenient for you. That could be one of your value propositions, right? What else? What other values can we bring to the table?
Showing our knowledge, and we're offering the resources that we have available to us. We're new, but we're backed by a lot of good people, a lot of good resources.
Yeah. Keller Williams is part of your value. Your office is part of your value. I would hope you pay us a lot of money to be with us, right?
Got to use it.
What's the value of Keller Williams? Well, we're the largest real estate company in the country by agents. We have more agents than anyone else, which creates more opportunities, more networking for our buyers, more networking for our sellers. That's one of the value propositions of being with the great big nationwide company. Gary Keller is regularly named one of the most influential people in real estate across all companies. Why? Because he's a visionary and a pioneer, and we benefit from his leadership. Where does his leadership bring us? Well, he brought us the MREA book, right? Basically the blueprint for building a successful real estate business. We wrote the book.
I notice, you know, some of the, some things are a little bit different in this market here in the Bay Area that don't quite apply from the book, because just the, you know, the, it appears just the availability of, well, again, like the, like you said, the inventory just really isn't quite there. So there's other ways and have to kind of compensate for what's not available.
Absolutely.
To
Well,
get
you know,
budget.
it's just a hurdle that we have to overcome. And in and of itself, it creates opportunity as well, right? Because we always need something to talk about to loop our business into the conversation. And in many cases, you know, you ask people a question, they reciprocate the question, you ask them about their job, they'll ask you about your job, and this is your opportunity to ask for business, right? Well, Rob, how is the market? How are you enjoying real estate? Oh, it's great, man, but there's one huge problem. We don't have any inventory. The market is really thirsty for people to sell their home. Who do you know that wants to sell their home? I'm looking to help 2 or 3 people in the next 3 weeks.
Got to know how to ask.
So, and that's it. And that's it. And, you know, a lot of times, you know, salespeople, they are maybe not salespeople, but people wanting to get into sales feel some reservations about having those types of conversations or asking. But there's ways to keep it subtle, right? If you guys want to read about ninja selling, it's a great book.
Got it.
Get the offer, but it's yeah. Look up ninja selling. You won't miss it. Part of it is just asking questions and opening people. They kind of walk into your trap in a way. And a lot of it's predicated on the basis of who you're calling, right? If you're calling people that you don't know, that don't know you, right? You ask them questions, they're not going to reciprocate necessarily because they don't know you, they don't care, right? If they don't know you. But if you're calling people that they do know you, they do care about you already, and you're just having a catch-up conversation, then they will reciprocate those questions. And that gives you that opportunity to then make your value proposition. And there's a myriad of value propositions that you can choose from that could help you win. Obviously, the value of having the office backing you up. Maybe you want to have a special promotion of some kind. Home inspections, termite inspections, roof inspections, that's about $1,000, $1,500, depending on the size of the house. Right? You may offer a free inspection services for people that interview you to be their buyer's agent this weekend. Or free pre-listing inspections for anyone that interviews you to be their listing agent this weekend. So again, how that call goes, when you're prepping your value, when you're offering your value proposition, hey, you know, how's the market? Oh, it's actually very interesting in that we don't have enough inventory and we're really thirsty for listings. Who do you know that's looking to sell their home? Or who do you know that's looking to buy their home?
So Mark, I had one question.
Mm-hmm.
So what about, so I'm absolutely new to this, so maybe it is a dumb question to ask, but I wanted to ask about staging. So if someone gets let's say there's a potential listing, and who does this? Who pays for the staging? Like, does the agent pay for the staging, or it's the owner who pays for the staging? Like, how does that work out?
So staging is, you know, it's in my opinion, essential for successfully selling a vacant home. Who pays for the staging? is a negotiation that we conduct in our listing presentation. And a lot of it's going to be predicated on what the overall commission is going to be. Many agents that offer staging to be included in the listing services, they charge appropriately on the listing commission. So if you're charging 6-7%, then you're giving out 2.5 to 3, and you're making 3.5%. Well, you should have enough dough there to cover staging if that's what you want to do. That could be part of your value proposition, right? You know, we're here to maximize people, you know, we're here to maximize people's results when selling their home. That's why we cover staging. Who do you know that wants to sell? Whether it's vacant or not, we make sure that the home is most appealing to buyers. That's why we sell our home for more money than everybody else. That's why you need to talk to me when it's time to sell your home.
And
Right?
yeah.
So part of a value proposition. Now, again, it's a part of a negotiation. You know, if we're starting to talk about who's paying for staging, in my mind, I'm like, okay, so I'm taking this listing. Because they wouldn't ask me who's paying for staging if they didn't like me. They wouldn't ask me who's paying for staging if they weren't going to consider hiring me, right? If you don't like me, you're not going to consider hiring me. It doesn't matter who pays for staging. It's, hey, thanks for coming by. Have a nice day. Right? If your people are asking you already, hey, who's paying for this? Who's paying for that? I take that as a buying signal that, you know, these people are serious and they're really evaluating whether they're working with me or not. So I'm now into signing contracts mode.
Okay.
And whenever, you know, people start to talk about commission and who pays for what, you know, it's 100% negotiable, and I'm really happy to have that negotiation. Just want to make sure that you feel comfortable with me as your real estate professional. Do you feel comfortable in my plan to get you the most money in the shortest amount of time? Is everything that we've discussed combined with my track record give you the confidence to hire me today if we come up with a resolution to who pays for the staging? And if,
let's say,
because remember, everyone, you know, sales is the overcoming of objections. So it's important for us to uncover any objections and then overcome them and close. So the last objection we want to overcome for closing is commission and who pays for what. If we're at that point of a discussion, then I want to make sure that everything else is clear. Mr. Seller, do you have any questions about my marketing strategy? Do you have any questions about the pricing strategy and where you feel the value of your home is going to be? Are we any concerns that I can deliver with my strategy the results that you're looking for? No. Okay, so it's my understanding that the only thing preventing us from having an agreement and you signing the listing agreement is to have clarity on the commission and who pays for what. Is that correct? Yes. Okay, great. Are you ready to have that discussion? Because I'm ready to have that discussion if you're willing to sign a listing agreement if we have an accord. Right? If we don't have an accord, then it's okay. We don't know. You're not going to meet eye to eye with everybody. Right? But if we have an agreement, then you're ready to move forward. And if they say no, then there's no point in negotiating commission. There's no point in telling them what you offer us. Because you don't want, you know, you don't want to be shocked. I don't want to be shocked. If I make any concession, it's concession is for today. You're signing this today. I'm offering you maybe a small discount. So I don't have to hound you for a week to get this signed because we're here now. You sign this now, and all our problems are solved, and I get to work. Right? So
yeah,
it's important.
I have one more really small, tiny question. So I'm an interior designer, but I don't really have vendors, and you know, like I don't have resources for staging. So let's say that I have that I can provide that value of, you know, actually staging a home, but I don't have any resources. So does Keller Williams have any like resources on that I can actually utilize?
We have a ton of stagers. There's no shortage.
Okay.
So you can utilize the stagers. I mean, what we bring to the table as agents is we can craft the vision and we can help, because we have an understanding of how the room should look, right? So your differentiator with your design ability would be leveraging the furniture that's there. I know how to arrange it to make it best. And if we don't have it, or if there's no furniture, then you can arrange for a stager that has the resources to be able, and the furniture to stage. And if you really, really want to be a stager and go do that, then, I mean, there's always room in the market for that as well. But you have to build your inventory, you have to go get your furniture, you have to find your storage, where to put it, and have a staging business. It's a different, that's a whole business in and of itself.
Yeah, it's a different business, yeah.
And you can leverage rental furniture too, to a degree, but that only really works for condos. Once you get into a little more fancier homes, you're gonna want to have nicer things.
Okay. Okay. Awesome.
Welcome. But yeah, staging, it's important. So as far as your value proposition, guys, goes, while you're calling people and talking to people, it's important that you have this clear vision of why you're hireable. Why you're hireable. So think about. It's difficult when you're new because you don't have a track record yet. Once you sell a couple of homes, then you have your track record. And you can say, well, I achieved this for this person, right? So your value proposition then will change. But until that happens, then we're just working with what we have. So another thing with that, sales 101, facts tell, but benefits sell. So when crafting your value proposition, it's important that you focus on the benefit to the consumer, right? What's the benefit of your specialty or skill or service? Right, if staging or interior design is your skill or service, what's the benefit to the consumer of your skill or service? Right, I know how to arrange rooms for maximum appeal so that buyers feel most comfortable, they get a vision for the room, and they offer you the most money for your house. Right, something along those lines. And again, it would kind of go into your, at the end of your how's the market spiel. It's great. One exception, we're really thirsty on listings. And it's interesting because I've mastered the art of home appeal so that if you are thinking about selling, I know how to arrange things in the home so you sell it for the most money. Who do you know that wants to sell? If they don't talk to me, they're leaving money on the table. I know how to make it happen so that it appeals to the most people. How do you know? We took classes on that, or I have special education, or whatever. Think of it. Think of your justification of why, you know, why that's there. It could be a financial incentive, right? Like again, if any sellers looking to sign, you know, we'll cover their inspections. It's a $1,500 value. For any buyer looking to buy, we'll cover the cost of post-market inspection, so you can cover everything about the house, and that's $1,000 value. But if you buy the house at close of escrow, I cover that for you. Whatever. Try not to give away too much. Right? Think about it. You go to Redfin, they're giving away 2%. With 2%, that's like 20, 30 grand. That's a lot. But again, know that in that marketplace. So when the buyers come to you, and they do, and the repeat clients or whatever, they're always going to reference, hey, these guys will do this at this price. Will you match that? So that becomes a business decision for you, number one. And number two, right, you have to know what to say to overcome that so that people hire you regardless.
In regards to, in regards to like inspections, like pre and post inspections, are they're usually like, are there both? You know, like say that there's like a termite inspection for the say for like the listing agent, and that's all done, and there's documents verifying all that. Is there usually like a second posting inspection like for the same thing? Is that still something else that you would offer?
So, everything is going to be market driven. The market's going to dictate how some of those things behave. Today, the market is very, very seller heavy, and the demand is very, very high. In our area, it's very common to have inspections up front and disclosures up front so that buyers, especially competing buyers, can make the most aggressive offers. Now, prior to our new contract that just came out in December, previous contract stipulated that any new information that was given to a buyer, even after the removal of their contingencies, would give them 5 days to review this information and either cancel the contract or move forward. New contract got rid of that. New contract states that any buyer removing contingencies without proper documentation takes the risk of whatever is on that documentation and cannot use that documentation as an excuse to back out of the contract and keep their deposit. That's new. Even some lawyers don't know. They got schooled the other day. So that being said, people are going very aggressive, meaning they're not usually running that second run of inspections. It softens and it becomes more balanced or more buyer centric. Then the buyers start coming in with a little more reservations just because they can. They have more options, right? They're not so married to the one and only option on the market. So when the market shifts, it may become more common again to where the seller will provide. I still believe in upfront inspections because I think that it makes it easier to go through the whole escrow process because there's fewer surprises for the buyer. They already know the condition of the property based on upfront, right? But nevertheless, right, people are human. Inspectors miss things. And before spending $2 million, someone might think it best to invest another $1,000, right, to verify the condition of the home. So in those cases and in those times, and even now, right, I've got non-contingent offers on a townhouse in Hayward, but the buyer still wants to know what's up. And they don't trust my inspector. Well, they trust them. They trusted them enough to go without contingencies. But nevertheless, they feel more comfortable with another inspection. So God bless them. Go inspect. Whatever they like, you're going to eat. But at the end of the day, again, is it better to lose 30 grand now or spend $1 million and say, oh, shoot, I got into a big mess, right? Sometimes it may be smarter for that buyer to walk away from that 30 grand or whatever their agent can recover back for them. There's no absolutes in this world. So whenever there's someone with a hurt feeling, they can always hire a lawyer and crush your absolute. Things will still happen for you. It just creates unpleasantries. Nevertheless, it is what it is. Understand, guys, that no one ever wants to throw their money away. And people change their mind. And yeah, they understood that they were what they signed when they signed it. But then all of a sudden, they don't want that anymore. And they don't want to lose their $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. So when that happens, and it does happen to the best of us, understand people start looking for straws. They look for different ways to get their money, and whatever friend you thought you had might not. Okay, but nevertheless, right? always, we're on our client side, whatever they want to do. If they want to inspect the house further, God bless them. $1,200, let them run their inspections. And so they feel comfortable about the condition of the home. That could be one of your value propositions. Hey, you know, I'm an expert on properties and their condition and how to decipher home inspections. So that you are we'll make sure that you're very comfortable knowing every aspect of the home that you're about to buy if you're working with me. And one of the reasons that I can, you know, do that is because I have the time to pay attention. I have the time to pay attention. That's one of the justifications for charging more money. Hey, that agent that's giving you a point back, he's got 15 clients, man, he doesn't know your home inspection from his brother's home inspection. And he doesn't really care. He just wants his $50. That's all he's doing. That's all he's getting. At the end of the day, that's what you're hiring, a rebate agent. Whereas with me, I'm very thorough, very detailed. I make no mistakes. I could use that one. That worked. Buyer got, you know, in a buyer consultation, he's like, hey, well, how big of a rebate do you give? It's like, well, two things. I don't give rebates and I don't make mistakes. So if I make a mistake, I give you all my commission. How's that? I have no problem with that. If I make a mistake, I own it, I eat it. But the good news for me is I'm thorough. I don't make mistakes. I'm not overloaded. So I have the time to pay attention. Right? That's the benefit of maybe working with someone that's not so busy. I have the time to pay attention to you and your
That
needs.
boasts a lot of confidence.
And to be very thorough. Right? I am going to read your home inspection. I am going to give you a thorough understanding and a breakdown. You know, I am going to provide a higher level of service. Kind of befitting the slide that we have up, right? But at the end of the day, guys, when you're crafting a value proposition, you have to address some main things, right? Number one, your value, how much you charge. And to do that, I mean, what do the people want? What's the purpose of our job? Facilitate real estate transactions. Why would you pay someone more or less for facilitating a real estate transaction? Well, some people do it better than others. Some people generate more money than others, right? If you take the time to process, to properly prepare, prep, stage, clean, educate the client on how to best present their home, your results will be better than those agents that just stick their sign in the yard and invite all over it without telling the seller how to or what to or how to present their home. The more homes that you preview, the more you'll see of that. Not every agent is built the same. That goes away to, you know, establishing your reputation. I try to establish a reputation. Hey, when you see my name on the sign, the house is going to be clean. It's going to show well. There's a good chance your clients are going to want to buy it. So it's a good thing for you to show it. That's my objective as a listing agent. And I've seen it many times. You know, you have those agencies that don't necessarily charge the same commission. They are overloaded. They don't pay attention. And it shows when you go view the home. I still show them because it still helps me sell. You gotta give a contrast, right? So you show one of those that's dirty and filthy, and you know your client's not going to buy it. It'll just help you sell the next house you're going to show them, because you know the next one is the real deal. It's professionally represented, it's professionally staged, and it's clean, and your clients are going to like it. And then ultimately, guys, you know, we are a fiduciary. You guys know what that means?
The loyalty to the client, accountable, one held accountable for everything going down.
Yes, it's described in the agency agreement. It's the first thing they sign when doing any paperwork with you. It's to provide a level of utmost care. A level of utmost care. Not reasonable care. Not good enough care, but utmost care. Oh, it's important. It's important to have that understanding, because when things go sideways, people look at you. They go, well, what did this guy not do? Did he perform a fiduciary duty? That's the first thing the lawyers attack when they go in they try to get into your pocket, if they're blaming you for something. One of the biggest things that agents fall into the trap when doing the transfer disclosure statement, that's when you list everything that you know about what you observe in the property. And instead of listing interesting things, they just write, hey, agent suggests that the buyer review all professional inspections thoroughly and be comfortable with the condition of the home. Now, is that a reasonable thing to write? I'd say it's reasonable, but does it demonstrate a duty of utmost care? And that, I tell you, absolutely not. Because an agent of utmost care would actually walk through the house and look for problems and describe them. And I guarantee you, there is no house without problems that you can describe. I guarantee there's not a single one, not a brand new one. I sold a brand new house last year to a client. The home inspection was this thick. Issues. So never take anything for granted, how new or how old, all kinds of issues. The coolest thing about the new houses is they fix everything for you, because they're selling a new house. They have to by law. They give you a 10-year warranty, which is why they came back with that thick thing. My client wasn't super stressed about it, because they did. They fixed everything.